So basically, I went to the NBC, the Nordic Barista Cup, in Oslo for no good reason except I found a good airfare. And it was really interesting. But I wanted to try out a couple of coffees I brought back with me, which are not readily available. Mr. Hasbean, Steve Layton's Jailbreak. He's very proud of it. It is sweet, balanced, rich, bold body, and forgiving. I don't know, that doesn't sound like a jailbreak, forgiving. And then I brought back Cafe Crescendo from Kaffa, which I have to admit, I already brewed this as an AeroPress just because I was out somewhere, didn't have an espresso machine, and it was really sweet coffee, so I'm interested in this. So let's see how they brew up. Of course, we don't use some Marzocco or something, we use home equipment that we sell, so I use the the Giotto from Rocket Espresso. I just have modified it with a temperature probe here, so I know the temperature at the head, and I've got my pressure adjusted down there. It's a pump machine, so I have it plumbed in, and it's a rotary pump tankless machine, and then I've got my my grinder. So I'm starting out with this Crescendo from Kaffa, and Kaffa in Oslo. I've already also I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I basically bought a gauge and built my own espresso handle so I can test. This one's one that's purchased. Mine's actually a lot nicer. You can do this with parts and just buy the plumbing fittings yourself. It's really easy. Tape it up. I don't need to have this, but it's good to calibrate against what it says that my pressure is at. So I've dosed a bunch of this. I'm going to try to get this espresso dialed in. I have my lovely coffee wood tamper. Let's get going here. I actually find a really tall glass makes it really good for aromatics. And this is a very sweet flavor. So as you can see, it's a 19-gram dose, 18 to 19. I didn't weigh it, but I know the dosage. So, and I tend to just swirl my espresso just to dissipate the crema, and mix it. It's fantastic. It's really nice. It's got a lot of citrus. It's really lively, but very sweet too. Kind of a brown sugar sweetness. Just enough roast flavor to give it a kind of a spice in the cup, which is a really good accent, kind of like a slightly caramelized sugar glazing on orange. Wow, they do a great job. Okay, next up to bat is the Hasbean Jailbreak. Let's check this out. We pulled a few more shots of the Kaffa Crescendo, and I'm really impressed with this. It's incredibly sweet. The citrus, the kind of caramelized sugars. There's some peach and tropical fruit that come out as it cools. Beautiful blend. So let me try to get the recipe on that. This Jailbreak, Steve is really proud of it, and he tells you what's in it. It's 40% El Salvador Finca La Fani, 30% El Salvador Finca Argentina, and 30% Nicaragua Limoncillo. I know two of those coffees well. They're washed, hard bean centrals. The Limoncillos can be a little lower altitude, but all Nicaraguas are a little lower down. These are probably 1,300 to 1,500 meter washed coffees. It says roasted 13th September. Best within 4 weeks, but drink within 3 months. Okay, now we're going to find out what forgiving tastes like. By the way, don't laugh at my technique. I'm not a barista. The roast on this Jailbreak is definitely on the light side. I noticed a couple irregular beans in there. Probably, I would guess, from the Nicaragua. So a little different. Let's see. So we're at 201. Oh, dirty glass. Let's see how that pulls. A little faster there. You know, like I said, I do everything bottomless, which kind of makes things look bad and is difficult. But I feel like I just learn more with bottomless. So we're a little fast there. I have the machine adjusted at 8.5 bars, so what we have is a lot of crema, a really different color than the Kaffa. The Kaffa had a very interesting, dark, opaque color. This is more of what we see normally here from my blends. Really nice, persistent crema. Yeah, good appearance. I like in glasses too, like this tall glass where I can see how the crema falls off the side of the glass. Something that's not part of any testing that you do in coffee, but it's something common in beer. Of course, I can't remember what you call it, but it shows you the persistence of the foam. So let's. I don't like I said, I stir up my espresso, and in these big cups I can do that without a spoon or something like that, and I don't scrape off the crema. I think it's part of the beverage. But you know, a lot of people have talked about the bitterness of crema. So it's ironic, everyone wanted to have crema, just cups of crema, and now you want to have the crema in producing the espresso, but you actually it's not so valued in terms of flavor now. A lot of that is because of the small amounts of, I think, insoluble solids that are suspended in crema, which are bittering compounds, because a lot of times those are the cell walls of the coffee bean itself. They're the cellulose and the woody structure of the coffee bean. So I think that's part of it, and I'm sure there's other reasons that I don't know. Let's taste Jailbreak from Hasbean. Well, it's not. It's nice. It has a really nice roast level. It's another bright espresso like our workshop blends. So we're all in the same ballpark on that. So this idea of West Coast espresso being bright, I think European espresso at this point among these really good roasters is quite bright. It's not what you get out here from, say, Blue Bottle, which is a very dark roast espresso by these standards that people are using today. I would say it's got a nice mouthfeel. It's definitely not as refined as the Kaffa coffee. The Kaffa Crescendo it really came to a very articulate point. The sweetness was extremely high. The acidity was very refined, and the finish, I mean, I'm really impressed with that coffee, so it's hard to compare anything to that. But, okay, so to be fair, I thought I'd put one of our espressos in here. This is the recent workshop edition called Consonanza, for lack of anything better. I just wanted to point out, too, if you don't have a temperature on the head of your machine, so you can measure your actual, temperature right at the brew head. You know, usually with this E61 type group head, you can count about 8 to 10 seconds after the machine has sat too long in order to run off some temperature, stabilize the temperature at the head. So let's see how we're doing here. It's good. No real dead spots or anything. Like I said, I'm a fan of rather fast espresso. I don't know why I like to make it in these large glasses and hold it. I tried to explain that a little, but I know it's wrong. I'm just not a fancy guy when it comes to espresso, but I'm trying to focus on the basics, and that's why I like the feedback of the bottomless. This was roasted last Thursday, and that's a lot of crema initially. Really, it's got a nice color. The roast was just slightly darker than we'd do some of our other ones. This has an Ethiopian in it. We use Ethiopia from Shikiso area. It's not a really bright, extremely piquant, acidic type. It's more of a kind of lemon wafer, rounded fruit, but definitely citrus and definitely some floral components. So let's see. Well, I mean, I'm biased. I think the body it's a little thinner than the other two I've just tasted. Right away I get the really nice accent notes that I think the washed Ethiopian is adding. And it's really, you have to choose a very particular washed Ethiopian to get this effect. But it's really nice. Little thinner. I think it could actually rest a few more days. This is 4 days old. And I think a couple more days might bring out a little more in it. It's a lot of citrus. It's lively. It's a little bit of a lemon rind, kind of a grated rind in there. Nice bittering end. It's kind of got some like hop flower and brown beer type maltiness in there. Get a little bit of graham cracker too. Really nice, but I'm a little surprised how light, how thin the mouthfeel is. But I'm happy with it. So, and I'm usually a little more critical actually of our own stuff. So that's good. All right.